If you don't think you're a good ice skater, or if you're convinced you're not a good cellist, you're not going to go out and try it. But people are buying stocks anyway.
Yeah.
They're not discouraged. They just think it's a gamble.
We begin with Peter Lynch. Time magazine has called him America's #1 money manager. During the 13 years he headed the Fidelity Magellan Fund, it was a top-ranked general equity mutual fund. His new book, Beating the Street, offers advice on picking stocks and maximizing profits.
Right. Well, I don't think people understand there's a 100% correlation with what happens to a company's earnings over several years and what happens to the stock. If the company, McDonald's, has done very well as a company,
Right.
the stock has done very well. People worry about too much money supply, what's happened to the price of oil, who's the president, who's being nominated for the Supreme Court,
It's all
the ozone
earnings.
layer. It has nothing to do. McDonald's earnings go up the next 10 years, the stock will go up.
But what they will say to you, Peter, is that, as you know, and why am I telling you this, but anyway, it's fun to tell you this, they're telling you that these other things influence the amount of earnings of a particular company.
Yeah.
If we're in a recession, people are not going to spend
That's
as
right.
much money on going to the movies
Absolutely.
or whatever they do.
Right.
And therefore, you got to pay attention to these other things
Yep.
because they impact on earnings.
They are very important, but you have no idea of knowing what they're going to do. Alan Greenspan's the head of the Federal Reserve.
Right.
He cannot predict interest rates. He cannot predict what long-term interest rates are going to be 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years. He's even surprised how low they are now.
Right.
So how am I supposed to predict interest rates? How am I supposed to predict the economy? You certainly remember the recession of '82.
Yes.
In 1982, we had a 20% prime rate, 14% unemployment, 12% inflation. I don't remember anybody telling me in 1980 or 81 that was going to happen.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we had the worst recession since the Depression. I didn't read about it in the paper. So it's crazy to think about these things. I'm saying people have natural advantages.
Yeah.
Let's say what you do for a living is you're involved in the restaurant industry.
Right.
You supply paper products. You supply kitchen equipment. You help build restaurants.
Right.
You saw McDonald's. You saw Chi-Chi's. You saw Chili's. You saw Cracker Barrel. You saw Dunkin' Donuts, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Taco Bell.
These are all success stories.
These were 40-fold. You made 40 or 50 times your money. You don't need to make that kind of money many times in your life, right?
Yeah, no.
That's all you had to do was follow the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
People are in industries. They're in the publishing industry. They're in the chemical industry, the paper. Why don't they just stay with that industry? You only need a few stocks a decade. How many good stocks do you need a lifetime? Instead of people that are in the restaurant industry, they're buying biotechnology stocks.
Right.
The people in the chemical industry are buying oil stocks.
Right.
It's absolutely absurd. People don't understand their natural advantages, and they don't use them. So that's bad, number one. But worse, number two, is if you don't think you're a good ice skater, or if you're convinced you're not a good cellist, you're not going to go out and try it. But people are buying stocks anyway.
Yeah.
They're not discouraged. They just think it's a gamble.
Yeah.
So therefore, they go forward and they bet on one stock for a week and a half, and it goes up, and they make $2 on it. Then they sell it, and they buy something else. When 3 years is over, all they've done is generate a lot of commissions, and they've probably lost money. That's a mistake.
So your advice is what?
If you don't understand a company, if you can't explain it to a 10-year-old in 2 minutes or less,
Yes.
don't own it. Because when it goes down,
So buy what you know.
buy in your industry, buy what you know, buy local
Yeah.
companies.
So suppose you don't have an industry. I mean, you don't really.
You buy local companies, companies in your own industry. 10 years after Walmart went public, 10 years after it went public, 10 years after it went public, it's a 25-year-old company now.
Right.
You could have bought the stock and made 50 times your money on it. 50 times.
This is, if you bought it 10 years
After it was public already.
Yeah.
It already gone up 5-fold. So you could have made 250-fold. But I'm saying, let's say you were in a town, they came into it and they said, boy, these prices are great, they're doing terrific, I like the bargains, and you checked it out. You spent a little bit of work on it.
Yeah.
I mean, people are very careful. When they buy a dishwasher, they do some research. They'll put $10,000 in some stock they hear on a bus. So if you did a little bit of research, you'd say, Walmart's only 10% of the country. They're not even saturated there. Why can't they go to the rest of the country?
Give me 5 good stocks to watch, not to buy, but just to watch. 5 ideas that you think where people are really on the right track and created a good business.
Well,
I think not touting stocks,
Okay,
America.
okay,
I just want to know what Peter likes.
Okay. Well, we have a company in Boston called Oh Bob Pan.
Yeah.
It's a company that makes croissants and they make breads and they have a state-of-the-art bagel they're working on. I can understand that company.
Me too.
They're only in about 20% of the country. They're starting to roll.
Yeah.
Right now, I think the price is fully priced. And I think now is the time
What's it selling for? What's fully priced?
Oh, I mean, it's 25 times next year's earnings. I mean, that's very high.
Right.
But I think over the long period of time, I'm hoping the market goes down and the stock will go down and I'm going to back up the truck and buy a lot of shares. I think now's the time to look at cyclical stocks. I think the economy is going to get better around the world in '94. It's already getting better in '93 in the United States.
And even better in '94.
Better in '94 because right now it's slumping in Germany and it's slumping in Japan.
Right.
So I think now's the time to look at cyclical companies in the paper industry, the aluminum industry, the steel industry. They've cut the costs. They're the lowest cost producers in the world. And when things get better, they're going to make a lot of money.
What
And
about
these-
little small companies we should look at?
Oh, there's tens of
Well,
thousands.
name one.
A small company? Well, I guess I'd say All About Pans is a small
okay,
one. Or another one would be J. Baker is a relatively small
What do they
company.
do?
It's a retailer.
Peter Lynch is back with a new book called Beating the Street. It is always interesting to have him here.